Hello, welcome back to your weekly astrology transits. And we have quite a fast-paced and interesting week this week. And we are definitely in the beginning of fall, in the northern hemisphere, the beginning of the mutable sign. When we went into Virgo last week, the sun moved into Virgo. It's like the last part before we have our equinox. In the southern hemisphere, it's the end of their winter. And we're into that last bit of, it seems like, at least in the northern hemisphere, things start to speed up. We get out of that fixed summer into that mutable energy, that Virgo, and that kind of readies us for fall and into the winter side. It's, winter time in the northern hemisphere. But anyway, aside from that, we kind of have a busy week on a lot of things happening astrologically. The high points are, well, the big one, well, there's a few. The Mercury goes direct. We also have Venus changing signs going into Libra. We have Uranus going retrograde, excuse me, and then Pluto changing signs and going back into, it's been backing up, so it's going into last stint into Capricorn. And then we have a new moon. So there's quite a few other little things, but those are the highlights. It's a lot. There's a lot. That's a lot. Any one of those things is a lot. So I think it's going to be very dynamic, very busy. So we kind of start today, we start this week with the moon in Gemini. So we already are amped up. It already is like a lot of information, a lot of communications, a lot of movement, a lot of change, typical Gemini kind of stuff. And then, the moon goes into Cancer. And then by the weekend, we have the moon going into Leo, which should be very lively. And then near the end of the week, coming into next week, we have it into Virgo. So we'll get there. But that's kind of where we are with the moon energy. So today we have a Venus in the very end of Virgo trining Uranus. And we have both of them making changes this week, right? So this is kind of interesting. We kind of start the week off with this trine. They're both at 27 degrees of Earth signs. So, this is kind of in effect. Venus is passing through that spot, but it's sort of been in that good, maybe good changes, good money flow, good ability to manifest your desires, to maybe know a little bit more what you want, to be more discerning, to be maybe something comes up out of the blue that it's like you like or you enjoy, or money, something goes with the flow, goes good for you. And then if you have things at that degree, that would only enhance that. But this is just for all, just that kind of blanket energy. So we can see that, and then those two planets, Venus is going to change signs. You can see it's at the end of Virgo here, and Uranus, like I said, has been slowing down, and it will go retrograde. All right, so tomorrow, Wednesday, we have Mercury. Where is it here? Stationary, and let's see, it should be retrograde. Let's go a few hours. It should be right around this time. Hours. So it should be late in the day. It shows it. Stationary. Why is that giving me that there? I don't know. Maybe that's, I don't know. It's not, anyway, it goes direct. Let me go back here. Days. So anyway, we have Mercury going direct. Let me just double check that degree. I don't know why that didn't change. Sometimes computer programs. See, it's still Mercury retrograde, right? And I want to just double check that degree for you. And Mercury, bear with me here. I'm looking in the trusty from this. Yeah, 21 degrees. It goes direct on the 28th, 21 direct 2125. 2125. So let's see. Oh, okay. So it's like 1 minute off here. Come on. Okay. Still there. 20. Why is it not? Yeah, they got a little glitch here. There we go. It's still not giving it to me. Wow. All right. Anyway, I'm not going to keep messing with it. But you know what to expect there. Okay, so Wednesday, we have it going direct. We also have Venus opposite. We can see there, as Venus gets near the end of, check that, gets near the end of Virgo, as soon as it goes into, gosh, it's like, it's not lining up. I don't know what the deal is. How are you? See Mercury retro. Okay, so there we go. Venus at 29 and Neptune at 29. So what is this? So when those two are in conversation, those are like Venus, that's one of the nicer signs, benefic, but it's not in its favorite place. And then, it's opposing Neptune where it likes to be in its home. So Venus here is kind of nervous. It just wants to maybe get things tidied up, is trying to be so Virgo, it doesn't, and it's opposing Neptune. Neptune is dreamy. It's like going sleep. Oh, come on, rest and everything. Venus goes, no, no, I've got a little bit more to do. Just leave me alone. So there's this little back and forth with maybe um almost pulling in the dream. It's like, you've got a little more work to do on it. It's not quite perfected, with that opposition. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so that's kind of a big, big seesaw. And at that late degree, there's when we, it's like that critical degree. So don't be too critical or hypercritical. Let it flow, because it's just like a few minutes away before it moves into Libra, which will be much nicer. It's nicer there. So Thursday, there we go. Venus moves at the 0 degrees and it moves into Libra. So that's its masculine expression of one of its home signs. Venus is at home in Taurus, that's its feminine place, and Venus is also, at home in Libra, that's its masculine place, masculine sign. So anyway, this is where, Venus gets a little bit more ballsy. It gets a little more outward. It's not just sitting there, like Taurus, comfort, secure. It's a little bit more outward, people pleasing, balancing, making sure things suit everyone. It's a very nice place. So one thing that happens, it's in an air sign there. As soon as it moves in, changes sign, it immediately makes an aspect with Pluto. So it just made an aspect with Neptune, kind of dreamy, and then it meets up with Pluto. So that Pluto just backed into Aquarius. Did I miss it today? No, I'm sorry, wait, it's still at the end of Aquarius, about to back up into Capricorn. That's what I want to say. So it's right there, and then I'll get there in a second. It will get back out of it. You can still only see there's three minutes of arc. So anyway, Venus has that nice trine. So, it can go to the depths. It can maybe, go to the depths with someone, relationship wise. We can definitely get on the mental game, get on the relationship, kind of like, it's nice, it's a flow, but it's like understanding maybe somebody has your back, maybe somebody, can go deep with you about something. So maybe there's a mental connection here. So this is a good conversation with that. All right, on Thursday, what else do I have here? So Venus changes signs and then trines Pluto right away. Right, and then on Friday, we got the moon moving into Leo. So moon has a lot of aspects that day. I didn't want to go through all of them, but the moon is making a lot of aspects because we've got some end of signs, beginning of signs. But you can see here, 0 or 1 degree right there. It's going to oppose Pluto. So this might be kind of interesting, at this time, when the moon goes through here, opposing Pluto. So moon feeling, an outward dramatic Leo can feel some depth. There could be some depth here. If there's artists or people writing, it's really a good time, or dreaming, or bringing the dream in, whether you write it, you're a creative writer, songwriter, a poet, bringing, an artist of any level, bringing in that creativity this is a good week for it. Okay, what else here on Friday do I have here? So moon, immediately there opposes, and then it's also sextiling Venus. So moon, it's like masculine sign, 2 signs away from Venus. So right here, it's quick, but we also get that trine. So that's interesting. That's what I was thinking, like you can go to depth with someone, in a relationship, so to speak, here with Venus in outward in her own sign, but then having good aspects from moon and a good conversation with Pluto. So it's not a bad date for depthy things, getting things done, having that lively, spirited energy from Leo. All right, moving into Saturday. Oh, you know what? I wanted to tell you before that. From Wednesday, let me go back a couple days. Go back. Right after the moon moves into Cancer, there's like an optimum period until the moon moves into Leo on Friday. So it's a really good opportunity to implement changes and return to projects that kind of were stuck during the Mercury retrograde. So again, writing, bringing forth information, ideas, networking, communication skills, all of that is favored right in there for that couple days before the moon moves into Leo here. And I have it at almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon it'll be on Friday. Okay, back to, so do we go through everything Friday? Yep, we'll go Friday. All right, so we move into Saturday. It's kind of a quiet day astrologically. It's kind of like Friday's really busy. Take advantage of that energy and then take advantage of the maybe sleep in Saturday. Or I mean, it's the moon is still lively, and it's going to go over your Mercury, and then that's the kind of the think feel, but it's in dramatic Leo, so you might have dramatic ideas, bold, something bold or something striking, happening. So that's one big thing on that level. Mainly more of a moon because there's everything else is about ready to go on the next day. Okay, so that's Saturday, and then Sunday. I have Uranus going retrograde, and it's showing its station here, so it's probably later. I have to check the times, but anyway, it's like its station means it's like stopped, and then it's about to go retrograde, and then Pluto. It's not giving me there. What the heck? There we go. Okay, so it's just later in the day. Let's go hours. Then Pluto also changes signs. Let's see if I can, there it is, right up here. Yeah, it's about 8:45 at night. Pluto goes back into Capricorn. Well, this is kind of interesting. See, and then also that when the moon is at 29 Leo, it will quincunx. It's at the 150 degree, that weird odd angle. So there could be something kind of like maybe just a little gnarly, a little you have to make an adjustment somewhere, maybe. And then especially when the moon is like here between Mercury and the sun, it's like traveling through this little group here. So, we could have a, little bump Sunday on that level. So we have, big planets changing. We've got one changing directions and one changing signs. We have Uranus changing directions, it goes retrograde, and we have Pluto backing up into Capricorn. That's the bigger thing. Pluto backing up into Capricorn, you can see also that it's going to be making some aspects. You can see it's in an earth sign, so it's picking up, it's only 2 degrees, away from Uranus. So we're getting a trine here as soon as that happens. And then we're getting another quincunx over here. So Pluto, it's got got some interesting energies here. So the 2 malefics, this could be kind of a hard adjustment with Mars in busy Gemini and the power structure, the plutocracy moving back into its power areas. So Pluto back into Capricorn. I think this is really the highest way to say this is like we have to create camaraderie with the division. We've got to make friends with Saturn. And Saturn wants you to be responsible. It wants you to keep things that are valuable. It wants to make good boundaries, like good fences, make good neighbors, that kind of a thing. And I think even though it's like this, a lot of it is the establishment, but it's also conservative energy. It's not quite so radical. It's a time we get maybe a little bit of like not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. not getting rid of everything kind of a thing. It's like there is good structure and good bones and stuff, and we have to connect with that before, use that little bit of time while it's retrograde into Capricorn before it goes direct um into Aquarius. And then that's not just always a good answer, because it can get militant, it can get self-righteous, so unless we put in some humility. So I think that's a big deal, that this last little trip here, and not see it as a bad thing or too authoritarian. It's like good structure. You have to have a plan. If an architect has to have square corners and a plan, to make something work. And I think that's what that's all about. So we can make that useful to us. All right, that's Sunday. And then as we come into Monday, we got, Labor Day, United States, but we have a new moon. I didn't look at the time, sorry, but it's at 11 degrees. Where is it? It's like it's almost right here. Be right with the sun. Hold on. Where we get it, 11. Later in the day. PM. And it's about right there. The sun, the sun moves, and then there it is. Okay. Both in the same, when it's a new moon, they're both in the same sign. The light of the sun is so bright, you can't see the moon. That's why it's dark there. If it were opposite, then we know it's the full moon. So it's at 11 Virgo. And we also have, and I didn't load Chiron in here, but I think this is interesting. And I mention it from time to time, but Mercury in Leo right here will be making a trine to Chiron in Aries. It's over here. I didn't put it. I guess I can put that in. But anyway, let me just trust me, it is. And that is like Chiron, the wounded healer, and Mercury is bringing maybe light, emphasis, drama, awareness to that. So I think this is a good time also for writers to maybe write, or songwriters or painters or some, to bring out something from the soul, or for just people to share your soul, share maybe the way you felt about something or how it affected you. It's like they communicate the wounded healer, the Chiron is the wounded healer, and it's in Aries now, and then it's making that trine with communicative Mercury in Leo. So it's like roaring that out. It's like, you stepped on my foot. I did. You didn't say I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. And then but we close out this part of the week with Mars. We just looked at it a little bit. It's 28 degrees here, and it will be making a square. You see, it's in a mutable sign, and it will be making a square over to Neptune in a mutable sign. Soon as it's applying here, and the next day, there we go. Yep, see, it's early on Tuesday. It'll be the exact. But anyway, this could be maybe a little slow down to some energy. A little, what would we say? We can go back still a little bit there. Okay, so Neptune goes back to that degree, so it's still at 28. Okay, so anyway, it's like squares, are harder, they're tougher. Mars energy wants to move forward. It's also very dynamic, so it could also be where you don't want to sleep. You want to be active, because it's like in that active sign of Mercury, and it might be just resisting some of that slipping into the recesses of Neptune, or it could be slipping into the recesses of Neptune to bring forth the vision, to bring forth the creativity, to bring forth the ideas. So I think squares are also very dynamic, and I think fixed squares are a little bit harder. I think mutable squares are a little bit easier, because they're mutable. And it's like, well, okay, we'll wait it out and it'll change, kind of an energy. But anyway, that is it. It's a very dynamic week, and a lot of changes. So it's very good. Go with the flow, and we'll come into the next part. But September is definitely a lot more action. a lot more movement. We're getting out of being stuck in certain areas with Mercury starting to go direct, but we have to wait totally for it to get out of its shadow. So we'll have to still go over ground, but we'll talk about that next week. All right, thanks for listening. Have a good week. Bye for now.